This is Phil, aka Corinne.
And I'm Alex Berg, and you're listening to the I'm from Driftwood podcast. Some of you might not know this, but I'm from Driftwood is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. That means it receives funds from sources like private foundation grants, fundraisers, corporate sponsors, and of course, individual donors. If you've enjoyed this podcast, and if you're able to, consider making a donation at imfromdriftwood.org/donate. No donation is too small to help us continue collecting and sharing queer and trans stories. So for these two stories, we are talking about romance and how these couples met each other. So let's start off with Simone. I feel like I'm already just smiling as I'm saying this because this was just like kind of a delightful story, an incredible story.
I'm just like, I want to live this story.
She was dressed average, just a big winter jacket, sweatpants, and rain boots. The train comes and we get on the same train together. I keep looking up at her and I keep looking back down in my poetry book and writing, and then I keep looking up at her. I think to myself, okay, wait, I should say something to her. I should say, you have a beautiful voice. I don't say anything because I'm too shy. And I'm thinking this girl will think I'm crazy for just walking across the train and talking to her out of nowhere. Number two, she's out of your league. She's way too pretty. And number three, she's probably straight. And I convinced myself that if she gets off at the same stop as me, I am going to say something to her. So it's the stop before my stop. And she ends up getting off the train there. And I'm like heartbroken because I'm thinking, damn it, I miss my shot. Just before she gets off the train, she hands me a note. The train doors close and I look down at this note and the note says, I'd like to read it / hear it when it's finished. And it has her email address after. I'm like, yes, I won. 2 days later, I send her an email. And the email says, you know, you had a beautiful voice. I met you on J Street. And she emails me back and she says, Simone, that name, it suits you. I take 7 days to email her back. After that first email, I email her finally with a response, and I hear nothing back from her. A week goes by, 2 weeks go by, 3 weeks. A month later, hey, I haven't stopped thinking about you since that day. Can we meet up? I get no response. And I crumple up the note that she gave me, and I throw it in the trash, and I'm like, I missed my shot. A year and a half goes by. After I crumpled up that note. And one particular relationship kind of like hit the end, and I was really upset about it. My friend is like, come on out, man. I got a raise. I got a promotion. I'll buy you a drink. Let that girl go. I'm like, fine. Okay, I'll go out. And I'm sitting there having a good time with my friends, and in this girl walks. The girl from the train a year and a half ago. I start telling my bros the story, and they're like, what? What are you doing still sitting here? Go in there and talk to her. Go in there and get her, She's dancing on the dance floor, and I'm like, okay, I got to use what I'm good at. Like, I can't just walk up to her and act like she remembers me. I have to use something I'm good at. I can dance. So let me try to get her attention by dancing with her. So I dance around her, and we end up dancing kind of with each other. Looks at me like, yeah, like kind of like, oh yeah, like I'm feeling your vibe. Like I like how you dance. And she says, what's your name? And I'm like, Simone. I was like, oh, you don't remember me? And she's like, nah, don't remember you. Okay, yeah, it's not a big deal. We met a year and a half ago on the subway. It was a long time ago. It's no biggie, And she goes, oh my God. And she grabs both of my cheeks with her hands, and she's like, the poet. She goes like, that's it. Take my number down right now. We're going on a date. And we take this ferry ride. It's beautiful. The sun is shining. It's a great day. We swing in the hammocks on Governor's Island. We have our first kiss on the hammocks. It's just like this beautiful, like the clouds, parted for us, and the sun came out and the rainbows and everything. It was just like the most perfect first date I could have ever imagined. That girl has goddess energy. You're not going to find someone like that that's going to wait around for you to do your mistakes and to do your fuck ups and stuff like that. You got to come to somebody like that with that kind of energy with 100%.
At the time that Simone recorded that story, they were together.
It's just such a good story. It's just an incredible story. And I have to say, it is not insignificant to mention that this woman hands Simone the note, before getting off of the train. Like that is what kicks this entire thing off. There would be no story to talk about today here if that hadn't happened.
Yeah.
Like that is what made this happen. And I really respect the fact that Simone was like, this person has goddess energy. And like, there was no way I was going to be a part of this person's experience if I didn't bring the same level of like amazingness. And I just thought it was beautiful. I was like, wow, that is incredible.
Gosh, there were like so many layers to this. I could just, as I was listening, I was like really thinking about being on a subway and having that kind of instant attraction to someone. I have to say, not an experience I've had in my life.
Oh,
like
really?
usually when I'm on a subway, I'm like sunglasses on.
Really?
Nobody talk to me. I don't want to be talked
Wow.
to. I'm like, but this is like so, because to me, a subway is like not a romantic place.
But you do have star quality. So I think you might be in your incognito, like
I'm in my
I'm
incognito.
Alex Berg, do not talk to me right now.
Situation.
I'm having a New York subway moment and I do not want to talk to any of my fans. So I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. I have definitely been on subways and definitely had this thing with some like a stranger and nothing came of it. But this story made me realize there were several times in the story which Simone talks about shooting your shot. Not something I'm good at. It's not something I'm good at. And it just made me realize, holy crap. Like it's the idea of like putting it out there and just doing it and being like, I'm just gonna shoot my shot. I'm just gonna see what happens here. And like my thing is like, I think I'm more overwhelmed by the getting shot down than I am about making a shot. I'm just like, oh my goodness, what if this goes south? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, maybe what's great about the story is that feeling of like, what if this doesn't go well was less than the feeling of what if this goes right? Maybe what if this goes right? I think Simone realized that like I was given more chances than most people are given. Like I was given more chances and I can't squander the chances. I gotta get on this. I was like, this is a great story.
This is such a good story. It's
so
actually,
good.
my mind was a little blown because I was like, this needs to be a movie.
I
Because
totally agree.
also the rekindling, like just the odds that you would rekindle this a year and a half later. I mean, I feel like it's one of those moments where you're like, this is, to me, it felt like a very uniquely queer story because if you're just like a straight person in New York City, you got so many bars to go to, so many places to go to.
Right.
And I feel like if you are a queer person, there are probably like a finite number of places that you're going to go to when you're going out with your friends.
Right.
And so the odds are higher that you're going to encounter these people. So to me, in a way, that felt like very reflective of what it's like to be in a community or like seeing some of the same people over and over again, but also just like wild that a full year and a half later these two are running into each other and just that it like managed to work out this way. And this made me think of this. I'm like so in my inspirational mode at this moment.
Yes,
forgive
go
me,
for
but
it.
I love this Rumi quote, which is live life like the odds are in your favor.
Yes.
And I feel like it's just so, it reminded me of that because it's like, Simone took a risk.
Those are the moments where you make room for magic. Like I literally think that. I am serious when I say this. It's like you can schedule your life to a T. You make no room for magic, you will have no magic. Like make a minute of not planned, not scheduled. This is off the cuff. Like just go for it. That is where magic happens in your life.
I truly could not agree with you more.
Come on, right?
Because, yes.
Do you want to high five me? Do it.
I do want to high five you. I almost want to high five you like louder. So
Do it.
so anyone hears,
Do it.
Our listeners can hear. No, I could not agree with you more because I also feel like when it comes, in my experience with dating and relationships, there have been times in my life where I like really wanted to be in a relationship and I was doing all of the calculated online dating, all of the quote unquote like right things that you're supposed to do. And then it's always, I like hate this. It's always when you like least expect
That's
it.
exactly
You're
right.
not looking like,
That's
why
exactly-
is that?
Because you're in relaxed mode.
Okay.
It's like I feel like when I say magic, I mean the world in your life sometimes takes over in ways that you can't understand, right? And so I think what that's about is that you relaxed enough to let it do that. Like those things will happen over and over again if you give it a minute. Like just give it a freaking minute.
That's what this story with Simone reminds me of. And like, that's why I feel like this is one of the reasons why I live in New York City, because you always feel like at any moment you could have like a life-changing interaction.
I definitely feel
it's
that.
Like at any, it's like, you know, sometimes when you get so frustrated with this dang city or any city, it's like, it's just still,
and then you could be on the
subway and you're, yeah.
But I just want to say, one of the best moments I've had in the city, and I've lived in the city pretty much all my life, right? I'm from here. I was on a train one day and some guy gets on the train and starts playing that Green Day song, Time of Your Life or whatever. Like literally, he's playing it on the guitar. And people are just like, they start nodding and then they start singing. Before you know it, the entire car is singing it.
Oh my God.
My heart almost broke open. I was like, what is happening? It was the most magical thing. And everyone is singing. Like they're all singing. People are just smiling at each other, being like, hope you had the time of your life. Like everyone is just, it was the most magical thing I've ever experienced. I was like, I could never have guessed that. Yeah. And I could never plan that. Right? It's again, that no one could plan that. We're just gonna all get on the 7 train at around 1 o'clock. Mm-hmm. We're gonna be in the 3rd car. We're gonna do a sing along to like Green Day. Like no one can do. You can't plan it. It's like a flash. Like so insane. Yeah. And everyone walks out of there, and they are on fire. They're so in love with the city, with the people in the car. They're just in love. It was gorgeous. It was beautiful.
What like a beautiful story.
Oh, I can't even talk about it. Okay, so I feel bad, but let's move on to the next story, Sam's story. Let's talk about Sam.
Sam's story, there are many layers to this story. This is also one that could be a movie because it's just also, there are so many layers.
About 6 years ago, I bought a 1982 Nissan Datsun 280ZX T-top. She was originally like grey-green and I painted her yellow. And I shared this car with my best friend, Jerome, and we called it Nancy, and she was gorgeous. And so my ex-girlfriend that I was with, my partner, she would drive it and she would always, I could always tell when she was driving Nancy because I'd get in Nancy and she just wasn't happy, you know? I was like, it's all right, it's fine. And it sounds really daft, but she just had to drive her really just how it was. And when you did, she just went so good. And so my ex, this is one night, our relationship was kind of falling apart at the time. And she calls me up at 4 a.m. and I had to be at work at 6. I was a mechanic. And she said that I had to come and fix Nancy. She had let this girl that she blatantly had a huge crush on, some artist that she worked with, drive the car, who didn't even know how to drive a stick shift on like fucking Hollywood Boulevard. And I don't know, it was so frustrating and shitty and made me feel extra kind of stupid and angry that I had to go over and fix my own car that she had just given to some other girl to drive, just to kind of impress her. So the best friend that I had brought the car with, he had moved to like Montreal and then he was in New York. And so soon afterwards, I went to go and visit him. And we were drinking at this bar, 10 Below, I think it's called. And we were drawing on napkins. We're like, we've got to get matching tattoos. What can we get? And we're going through all these different things because we lived together for a while in Los Angeles. And we were like, Nancy, let's just get Nancy. So we went outside. I used to smoke back then and went outside for a cigarette. And we ran into this chick who was cool and fun, just smoking. You know, we're like having a few drinks and getting a bit tipsy. And then go back inside, and so she introduces us to her friend. Her friend's name is Lucy. She just turns to me and she's like kind of drunk and just not interested in meeting anyone. And she's like, hi, my name's Lucy. And I was like, oh my God, she's from Yorkshire, or she's like from the north and I'm from the south. So I was like, God, and the accent's really nice. And I was like, oh, you're from England? She's like, yeah, I'm from England. Because when you're English, I was like, oh, where are you from? And she was kind of too drunk to notice my accent. So she didn't even care. Sort of like a few drinks, we had maybe another round. And she said, well, they were both like, well, we're going to go now because we're going to go get matching tattoos. And we're like, whoa, what? Well, we were going to go get matching tattoos today as well. Let's just all go together. So we all just, you know, hung out, drank some more, went and found this place on like St. Mark's or something, went upstairs and like choosing what we wanted, like the fonts and stuff. But it was such a good night, and we went and got food, and we were probably up till about 6 in the morning, just all of us. We were probably from about 2 to 6, 2 in the afternoon to 6 in the morning, just all 4 of us just hanging out, 2 sets of best friends. It was really sweet with our little tattoos. We were downstairs in like this underground like basement thing, which I feel like was right underneath the tattoo place. Lucy went over to the bar, and then I like went up next to her and I just started, I guess, hitting on her quite intensely. She was straight, so she had never been with a girl before. And I was like, I really want to take you home, is what I said. Maybe some other stuff that I'm not going to repeat, but and she was like, no, you know, I'm straight, you know, I don't even like girls. And I was like, oh, okay, worth a shot. So we went and had food, and I went to the loo and then came out, and Lucy's like, right, you're coming home with me. And then I was like, whoa, really? So, and then I was like, well, is this the right thing? You know, I'd never been disloyal to my partner who was back in LA. And I kind of made my mind up in the cab and was just like, that's it then. I can't be with this woman anymore. I made the decision to leave her in the cab, really, on the way back to Lucy's house. It was really hard for me leaving my partner, my life and everything, not really knowing where I was going. And I definitely went through some bad parts. And, you know, Lucy and I would see each other probably like once a month, maybe 3 times every 2 months. And we would break up, we would get back together, we'd break up, get back together, you know, become exclusive, and then just, you know, open it up again. And then we had decided to end it this one time. And when we weren't talking for about 6 months, and it was so soul destroying. You know, I just wanted to put her into every scenario or every adventure that I was going on. I wanted to imagine that she was there with me. After this 6 months apart, I just realized it was not worth it, and I wanted to do everything in my power to make it work for us. And so I got her ring, made the decision to move to New York, and initially just spent the summer here, and then just wanted to go full on. And so yeah, I moved to New York to be with her. And then in January, I proposed to her when we were in Mexico. So we got engaged, and it was, yeah, I don't know, it's just been amazing. Every minute I'm with her, I just need more minutes with her, you know? You just want the entirety of someone. And with her, I just want all of her, more of her, all the time. And I think being married to her would just be such a peaceful bliss.
Are you kidding me? Shoot your shot.
Completely shoot your shot.
What is that? I mean, it's just like, it's giving me, it's inspiring me. I'll tell you that much, because I'm like, if somebody, honestly, it's the fear that a lot of people who are queer being like, oh, I'm going to hit on this person and they're going to be straight and that's going to be the end of that. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm pretty sure Sam tried to hit on Lucy, went to the bathroom, came back out of the bathroom, and Lucy's like, actually, maybe, possibly, okay, yes. like literally, like, what happened?
Truly, like, who talked to Lucy? Thank you, person who had a little chat,
was like,
had a heart-to-heart with Lucy.
Somebody was like, Lucy, maybe you need to give this a shot. And Lucy was like, maybe I do. And then Sam comes out the bathroom, and Lucy's like, we're going home. I was like, what?
To which I say, we're all straight until we're not. We're all straight until we're not straight. This story was just so a trip, because it was like,
straight till we're not.
There was just like so much, like, the car, there's like this car, and there's the ex, and there's like this whole situation that happens in Los Angeles of imagining Sam's ex's crush taking the car, driving it along Hollywood Boulevard, messing with the car. There's like that whole story. Then there's like this new New York chapter. Again, this story is like somebody make this into a movie, you know?
Right,
and
right.
then but it's also just to the spontaneity conversation we were having. It's like so many moments of spontaneity. And there's something about that, again, that feels very uniquely queer to me, that like capacity to take chances.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like nightlife is so important to queer people in a way that I feel like with straight people, and I don't want to make broad sweeping generalizations, it's just like, I feel like queer people, you know, you can go out to spaces to find people who are like you. And so it also feels like this uniquely queer, putting yourself out into the world in a way that's very bold. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah, I really did appreciate the story as well. And I mean, again, like I don't know what happened when I went to the bathroom. I mean, maybe some of that magic I was talking about earlier, like came in, because I'm like, I don't understand what happened, because it didn't sound like a lot of time passed between the no, I'm straight and I don't date girls, and oh, we're going home. I'm like, what happened? Like,
yeah,
I need a recap. I need to like check in. I need to go back and be like, hey, Lucy, what happened?
We want part 2. We want the sequel to this one, which is Lucy's story.
Right.
But also, what a leap of faith for Lucy as well, to also be like, I'm identifying as straight right now, or maybe uncertain, or who knows. I don't want to assume Lucy's perspective, but then to also like take this risk, and now to also be engaged to this person. Again, story couldn't have happened without two people exercising their full agency
100%.
to make it happen.
But you know, what's interesting throughout the story is that, like, Sam notes many times throughout the story that Lucy was disinterested. Like, disinterested in, like, Lucy was a little drunk and was not really noticing that Sam also had an English accent. Lucy was like, introduced herself and was like, yeah, hi, Lucy. Like, didn't seem interested. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, what happened? Lucy, tell us what happened. Come on, Lucy, we want to know.
Need to know.
Like, I just want to know. But it's fascinating. But I do think the shoot your shot thing is a big thing. Mm-hmm. Because without that, we don't have stories to talk about here, right? Nothing happens, and people don't, like, people are taking risks.
Speaking of shooting your shot, I feel like one of the hardest things about dating is the sense of rejection, the capacity of rejection, because I feel like just as human beings, like, we're almost hardwired to be averse to rejection.
100%.
It's the worst, and we'll do anything we can to not be rejected. And so I just praise both of these folks, because they just forged ahead in the middle of the rejection, because I feel like that is such a difficult thing to do. And I think of my own New York experiences, like, there have definitely been times when I shot my shot. I don't even know what it is, but I put myself out there and like crashed and burned.
Oh, I've been there. I've definitely there. But you know what? I will go back to what we talked about with the first story with Simone. Let's not make it mean more than it is. We don't even know what it means.
True.
It could literally be that you remind this person of somebody else and they're like, absolutely not. But that's on them, because it's like, you don't know me. Like, you're now ascribing me to someone else and you don't know me. There are a million reasons why somebody might say no. And we always want to go to the worst reason, and it may not be a big deal. You might be like, oh, I get that. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, you can't do it. I get it.
Or I feel like it is okay if someone is just not romantically attracted to you.
100%.
And I feel like part of growing up and becoming more mature with dating and romance is also being able to like live with that.
Yes.
And also being able to almost like depersonalize it in a way where you're like, cool, we could be friends. Like, you're just not romantically interested in me. And there's no reason for me to pursue this, because I want somebody who is actually romantically invested in me. You know, I feel like it's hard to get to that point, but I feel like that was one of the biggest lessons I learned in terms of dating, was like not going for people who weren't interested in me, and also being able to put myself out there and then live with the rejection, or not even rejection, just the almost like taking it down a notch to be like, not everybody can be into everybody at the same time.
Right. And I think it's such, and what you just said is just so, the idea of being like, okay, if somebody's not romantically interested in me, we've all met people who are not romantically interested, and it is not anything against them. It's just like, there's something either there or something not there. And it's like, if it's not there, it's like, maybe it doesn't have to be so personal. Maybe you don't have to take it to heart so much. It's just like, it's either there or it's not. And it's like, okay for it not to be there. But I think it's, what you just said is great. I hope that I can move forward with being like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna shoot my here, shoot my shot there, shoot my shot. Like, I am one that's very averse to like a rejection. It's like really hard for me. And I'm like, I want to make friends with it.
Yeah.
I want to make friends with it. I don't want to run from it. I want to make friends with it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like all it is, you know what? rejection's information. That's what it is. It's always more information about what works, what doesn't work. If we could just look at it that and not make it mean so much, we'd be like, whatever, it's okay. It's actually cool. It's like, you got more information, you're good.
Sitting here at the like ages and vantage points that we are at, just one thing I'll say is I do feel like dating is easier when your cerebral cortex is fully developed, because let me tell you, in my early 20s, I've been through therapy. I have done some work on myself, and I do feel like it is easier having a fully developed brain to process all the dating stuff. But one thing that I will always be so grateful for is that I really feel like I was able to date a lot of different kinds of people. I really was able to like experience queer nightlife, and I feel like that was super important to me to be able to sit here and have this conversation and put myself out there and experience rejection. And I'm glad I had all of those life experiences, even though I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I wrote my number on that receipt for that bartender. It's like, even though I look back in those moments where I'm like, oh my God,
I do it?
Yeah, what were you thinking?
No, I mean, listen, it's shooting your shot. I mean, and shooting your shot means it's not like the shot lands every time. It's that you're just shooting, and you have to. Like, so that something does land, but like, you did the right thing.
Yeah.
You did the right thing. You don't want to be looking back in your life. I feel like not one of us, like Simone doesn't want to look back and be like, Simone would have been really like looking back and being like, what if I had gone up and tried to dance with this woman?
Yep.
What if I had like let go of what happened in the year and a half ago when they didn't like ghosted me, and if I didn't let that go, where would I be right now? Like, I wouldn't be in this relationship with this woman that I think has goddess energy. Like, what more beautiful thing can you say about somebody you're dating? It's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It's great. I'm just cursing all over the place. I don't know how I'm doing that. But
Andy can bleep us.
Like, get it out of there, Andy.
Bleep us.
Get it out. But no, it's like, it's just beautiful. And I think the shooting the shot thing, like, I respect anybody that's going to do that. I think it's so good. It's like, it's so good. I'm from Driftwood podcast is hosted by Phil, a.k.a. Corinne,
and Alex Berg, and is produced by Andy Egan Thorpe.
The podcast is recorded as part of I'm from Driftwood, a worldwide nonprofit LGBTQIA plus story archive. Its mission is to help LGBTQIA plus people learn more about their community,
help straight people learn more about their neighbors,
and for everyone to learn more about themselves,
all through the power of storytelling.
I'm from Driftwood's founder and executive director is Nathan Mansky. Its program director is Damian Middlefeld.
This program is supported in part by public funds from the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council.
Additional funding is provided by TD Bank and Heritage of Pride, New York.
Our score is provided by Elevate Audio. The stories you heard today are available in their entirety, plus thousands more,
at imfromdriftwood.org.
You can also follow I'm From Driftwood on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.
And be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks, y'all, for listening.